Welcome to one of our mini HighlanderLink tutorial videos. HighlanderLink isn't just a website for listing your contact info and posting events, but there's also an in-depth built-in system for creating forms and gathering information. This video will walk you through how to create a form and then how to view and manipulate the results. Start by heading to highlanderlink.ucr.edu and log in the upper right. You'll see all your memberships listed right there on your homepage, so find the group that you want to make a form for. You must either have all access or special access to create and edit forms. If you don't have this level of access, you can ask your primary contact to give it to you, which they can do through the roster page. One note about forms. All of these forms require that the person filling it out is logged into HighlanderLink. There are no anonymous forms or forms available for the general public. Also, sometimes there's difficulty when creating forms using the Internet Explorer or even Firefox. So if you run into troubles, try another browser and see if that works. Now, when you first see your group's profile, it will have everything showing at once, meant for the public view. If you have forms ready, they'll show up on this page. However, if you want to create forms, click on the Manage Organization button. In the upper left of your group's profile, click on the navigation bar and you'll see all of your options show up. You'll see a Forms button. Click on that, and if you've already created forms, you'll see them listed here. Click on Create Form to get started. You'll insert a name for your form, and then you'll click the Active button. If you don't click Active, that means your form won't be visible until you click that checkbox. If it's a form that you're going to work on over a span of time, or you need someone else to give input, you might not want to check Active. You'll then insert a start and an end date for the form. You can edit this later, but it will automatically activate and deactivate at these times. If you check Active above, it won't appear until after this time. And vice versa, if you don't check Active, it will not automatically post. When your survey is ready, it should be both active and have a valid start date. By checking the multiple submissions box, that means that a student that's logged in can complete the survey multiple times. You'll also be able to decide which positions in your organization can fill out this form. It's usually a safe bet to leave this blank unless your form is very specific and it's important that only certain people are filling it out. Not checking any boxes means that anyone, even if they're not a member of your organization, can fill out the form. You'll then click Save and Add Questions. You'll now see a blank page, which is okay. You'll see a variety of options, which are all different types of questions or statements that you'd like to add to your form. Let's begin with a basic one. Traditionally, a form would begin with instructions, so it makes sense to talk about that first. When you click the Instructions button, you'll be able to enter a substantial amount of text to give the person filling out the form some context. There are no answers to an instructions box. It's literally just instructions. For your form, this may be something like a job description or officer outline, or something like a calendar of events, or maybe a list of choices with descriptions which they're about to vote on. So let's start discussing what types of questions you can add to a form. The first option is a checkbox list. There will be one question and multiple potential answers. Some examples might be, what kinds of pizza do you like at the next meeting? Someone could select pepperoni, cheese, or both. Check boxes allow for multiple answers. The next option, radio button list, is similar, but you can only choose one answer. This is good for things like t-shirt sizes, year in school, college they attend, or something else where only one answer would make sense. Up next, we have text fields. This can be anything from one single line to an entire paragraph. Most often, this will be something like name or phone number. If you want an essay-style entry, you can just change the amount of rows to something more substantial. Something like 6 to 8 rows usually encourages your participants to fill out something longer than one line. A drop-down list is similar to the radio button list, but is presented differently. They can still only select one answer. The single checkbox option has a very specific use. You will write a paragraph, and it does not present you with answers. You might commonly see this in forms as something like, I've read the above and understand it, or I agree to the terms and conditions. Or maybe it's a clause similar to, while at this event I understand I may get my photograph taken. There is one statement and a checkbox. Simple. The next option is for a ranking. You have one question and multiple items that the participant will move around to rank. An example might be something like, rank the order of these themes for our end of the year celebration. If I love the idea of a beach-themed event, I would select beach to be number 1. And lastly, we have a file upload option. You can write a description of what you want them to upload. Maybe it's a logo competition, or maybe it's a scanned form, or maybe something like a Word document. With all of these questions, if you want to make it required for them to answer, you can edit the question and check the box that says required. It's also easy to rearrange questions by clicking on the multi-directional icon and dragging to a different location. Once you're done, you can go back to your forms page and you'll see the form listed. By clicking on Publish, it will give you several ways to get your form out there. First, make sure Active is selected, and then you can copy and paste that address. You can email this or post it to social media. When someone clicks on it, they are brought immediately to the first page of the survey, after maybe being asked to log in. This way, you don't have to give instructions, and they don't even need to know what HighlanderLink is. Now let's pretend that you've posted the survey, and you've gotten enough results that you want to look at. When you look at the forms page, you might see that it says Submissions, and then a certain number of them that are unapproved. Click on Submissions. By default, someone's answers to the form are in pending, but you can do two things. You can approve it, meaning that their answers were acceptable. For forms that have little consequence, such as what kind of pizza should we order, it's a safe bet to approve all forms. If your form is something like a job application, you might want to look at their submission first. Click on the small I to look at one specific submission, or you can print them directly from here. You can write comments that appear when you approve, such as "Thanks for your application, we'll be in touch." They'll receive an email when you approve the form that says it was approved, and sometimes that can be misconstrued as acceptance. So if this form is for something like a job or an award, it's good to put an explanation that they're still under consideration. This approval does not mean congratulations. If for some reason their answers were off, or they didn't complete a required part of the form, you can deny the form. Something like, "Thanks, but the logo you attached was in the wrong format," is usually the best response. If you deny it, it's good to put an explanation for why. When you deny a form, they get it returned to them to make edits. They can resubmit fairly easily. Another reason to put a description when you deny it is so that they know what to fix. Most forms won't need to be denied in general, but it's good to know how to deny them just in case. If you're forwarding applications to someone else to review, you can click the print button next to each application to convert it to a PDF. If you don't see a PDF option there, you may want to look up a way to quote-unquote print to PDF. Let's pretend you've gotten all of your submissions, or maybe enough submissions, so now you want to look at all the answers together. Look at your approved documents and you can export all to an Excel file. To clean up the document, you can delete the columns for things like instructions or data fields that you don't need to see at that time. Now you have a file that you can easily count and manipulate and sort. As a note, if your form ever deactivates, it may be because your time expired. So it's important to set an end date to your form that allows for some flexibility. If you have questions about forms or you're trying to do something more advanced, stop by Student Life at Hub 229 and ask to set up an appointment with your advisor, and they will gladly try to help you figure it out. Hopefully, though, this system is intuitive and helpful for both you and your organization. Thanks for watching.